Miles Theeman is a dear friend. His commitment to the University of Maine is really about a commitment to the region. We often bring him in to be an outside advisor, R&D programs, the different assessments that we've had. If anything, Miles has been a champion helping steer the University of Maine to increase R&D activity and R&D dollars that are definitely benefit to the state.
Among the many names of folks that were given to me when I first got here, Miles's name just kept coming up as a wise person who cared a lot about the University of Maine and had great experience and would be someone who could help me. I can trust him to be really direct and honest and not to pull punches. He'll let us know if he thinks some direction that we're thinking about is crazy or if he thinks it's really good and needs more attention. And I just love that and appreciate that kind of guidance.
I've known Miles for almost 2 decades right now. He was part of the Maine Science and Technology Foundation, Maine Innovation Economy Advisory Board, where he chaired that. What you see behind me, or this laboratory, wouldn't really be here without the couple of decades of work that Miles put into it. We started out our lab back in 1996 with about 4 people and no facility. Today we have over 200 people who work here in this laboratory, a 100,000 square foot facility. It wouldn't be here without Miles and his passion for research and development.
Miles is a funny guy, one of the most warm-hearted people I have ever met. He excels at relationships. He is a wonderful husband, he's a wonderful father, and he's an over-the-moon grandfather. Miles has many examples of contributions to Bangor, but probably the one that's most visible is the work that he did to bring the idea of the Cross Insurance Center to reality. Miles is a great guy, except for that one thing.
One thing that kind of bothers us about Miles,
Just one thing that just does not feel quite right.
and that's that he's a Yankees fan.
He's a fan of the New York Yankees.
Miles is one of the only people who can show up at the University of Maine hockey game, sit in the president's box wearing a New York Yankees hat, and not end up in the penalty box.
It's sad, really.
Just you wait a New York minute, people. This is Stump Merrill, class of 1966. Ain't nothing wrong with being a black bear and a fan of the New York Yankees. Milton?
Miles.
Miles, don't let them get you down.
To Miles Theeman, way to go, champ.
Not only a champion of the University of Maine, but his entire community.
I can't think of a better person to win this award than being a champion for the University of Maine.
Miles Theeman is truly a champion of the University of Maine.
Hey, Milton, you looking for this?
Please welcome to the stage the champion of Maine, Miles Theeman, and the right to moving ahead to the next, the Champion of Maine Award.
I probably should wear the hat. Before I start, first of all, I was told I had 3 minutes, then I had 1 minute. That ain't going to happen. So, but I would like to mention one thing. Whoever wrote the narrative in here stole my whole speech, number one. And for those of you who are hockey fans, I don't know how they got Don Cherry's picture in the brochure. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Alumni Association, members of the Alumni Association Board. Those of you who know me may find this hard to believe, but when John contacted me during the holiday season and told me of this honor, I was speechless, just for a minute. I had 2 immediate thoughts. The first was obvious, wow. And the second was, I sure am glad that attending summer school in 1967 didn't disqualify me from consideration. As you may have read, my affinity for the University of Maine really began in 1990 when I became a member of what today, after numerous name changes, is the Maine Science and Technology Advisory Committee, the group responsible for creating the state's research and development plan and reviewing grant applications from every acronym known to man: EPSCoR, NSF, NASA, DOD, DOE, and all the others that fund R&D at the university level. During my decade-plus membership on that committee, I learned to spell quaternary, and I also discovered that molecular biophysics, sustainable ecological aquaculture, and advanced structures and composites were real things. Who knew? I was fortunate to sit on numerous review panels, to testify at the legislature for matching funds to support grant programs. I signed several official state of Maine R&D plans, which generally fell on deaf ears and gathered dust in some file cabinet. But a huge takeaway for me personally was that I began to appreciate how important R&D is to the University of Maine campus, and equally as important, the campus's real and potential value to economic development in the state of Maine. In 2003, I became a member of the University of Maine Board of Visitors, completed my first term in 2009, and then inexplicably was asked back in 2010 for another year. I think I am the longest tenured member of that body, but my friend Bob Strong says the only reason I was invited back was to see if I could get it right a second time. During my time on the BOV, I got more than I gave. I met some terrific UMaine grads whose roots from humble beginnings in Maine was fueled by their UMaine experience, and whose paths I otherwise would never have crossed. It was an unintended consequence for which I'm incredibly grateful. I learned more about the inner workings of the campus, its student and faculty diversity, its challenges and opportunity, and its jewels. I listened to the aspirations and accomplishments of undergraduate and graduate students from places like Pembroke, Gouldsboro, Chapman, Dallas Plantation, and Norwich Walk, and I developed a better appreciation of how important a strong, vibrant UM is to Maine kids, as well as those from beyond our borders. A couple of years ago, I was asked to participate in the startup of the review for Maine's new signature and emerging programs. My head almost exploded. I had no idea of everything going on this campus. In 2016-17, I was part of a BOV group that included Owen McCarthy, Jay Cromarty, and Lucy and Eric Brennan, that traveled to every other Maine campus to talk about the one university concept and how the BOV could assist in that effort. As you might imagine, we were received better in some locations than in others. But I believe that that advocacy helped, especially at Machias, where I had eventually the honor of being part of the working group that advised the chancellor on integration of the UMaine campus. If that campus had been a business, as part of a chain of stores, it would have been shuttered in a heartbeat. Fortunately, Jim Page and Sue Hunter recognized the academic, economic, and political impact of that campus and envisioned a path forward. As a kid from Lubec, I'm very proud to have been part of that effort. In closing, I've been very fortunate in so many ways. I grew up in a great little town where I learned about the importance of community and the importance of giving back. Sharon, my wife of 46 years, is a terrific life partner, and we have two wonderful children and a grandchild, the golden child, as we refer to him. I had a great professional career thanks to extraordinary leaders like Michelle Hood. But particularly germane to this wonderful award tonight, I leave you with this. From the University of Maine, I learned what is possible. Thank you all very much.